Our ancestors termed the whole earth. The first people who arrived into India were Negroids from Africa with black skin and curly hair.
This is a Hamiti Hebrew ethics presentation by priest teacher Rabbi L.M. Dunizo. Welcome, brothers and sisters. Live spirit of Amen. Spirit is power.
How did the Indus civilization, after 2,000 years of prosperity, collapse abruptly? This is the Indus Valley that we are showing here, well advanced in ancient times. How did it collapse suddenly, without any warning? We all know that the Aryan invasions constitutes the most severe calamities that almost wiped out our black brothers and sisters who founded the ancient Indian civilization. Yet today is now considered a theory, the Aryan Invasion Theory. Who is an Aryan? Who are these people? Here is more proof that they now consider it as a theory, not as a reality. We see here that these Aryans and their flag, the modern state of India and their development, and our brothers there, it says that the myth and death of Aryan Invasion Theory. European misappropriated the Vedas and cooked up the Aryan Invasion Theory, and hence created the mythical Aryan race that never existed. Is this true? Was Hitler not believing in an Aryan race? Asian Hindu culture is thousands of years older than that of Europe and even Christianity. They just created the story to gain political, economic, and cultural supremacy, and pushing the more advanced and sophisticated Indian Vedic culture to the sideline. Modern worldwide research validates this fact. How can this be true? Because there are proofs of several Holocausts that occurred during this period and are still here. In the Indus Valley civilization around the 1920s, evidence was brought to light but quickly suppressed of the Aryan invasion and destruction. This large-scale destruction and genocide perpetrated over 1,000 years by the Aryan invaders on indigenous Negroid Sudras, Mongoloids, and Semites is an episode now openly and blatantly denied by the Brahmin-controlled press of India, which propagates highly distorted versions of history and even goes to the extent of denying that any genocide took place. Why? What can we do now? Who founded this civilization? The Harappan civilization and Mohenjo-Daro civilization and Indus Valley civilization. Who founded it? Harappa here. Who founded all this civilization? Mohenjo-Daro, Kholistan. How do we know? Look at their civilization. Look at how they built. They were civilized, far advanced in the similar vein and similar nature of ancient Egypt. Perhaps for us to understand this, let's begin by asking, who is Indian? What does an Indian look like? There are 6 main ethnic groups: Negrito, Proto Australoid, Mediterranean or Dravidian, Western Brachycephalic, Mongoloids, and Nordic Aryans. This is the diagram that shows you these groups, Asian tribes of India. Now, of the 6 groups, who is the original founder of this subcontinent? It is quite obvious that Africa gave birth to India, both as geological, tectonically, as well as civilization. We have proved that it has been proved by many unbiased scholars. Therefore, contemporary research demonstrates that the majority of modern Indians emerge from 2 ancient genetically different clusters. From each, 40 to 60% of the DNA is prevalent in the majority today. One ancestral family, the oldest lineage common in indigenous Negritoes and related to the Andaman Islands, a remote archipelago in the Bay of Bengal. These are the oldest. The Negrito branch is the oldest. You can see them here. Today, they are coming with genetics and saying, no, the Australian Aboriginal and African are not related. That is an absolute blue lie. We look the same. We are the same. Genotypically, phenotypically, we are the same. Whoever says we are not is dividing us in order to rule us. We will not accept that. The second, which is genetically similar to Middle Eastern, Central Asian, and European populations, was higher in upper caste individuals and speakers of Indo-European languages such as Hindi, and this is what the researchers found. And you can see this is the mulatto, this is the hybrid, the breed who was bred between us. This is the original. You can see the original Andaman Island. Black people found in Andaman Island there, Indian Ocean Island, and in Nicobar. These are our brothers, these are our sisters, these are our brothers. You can go in Africa, in Zimbabwe, you find similar people, no difference. Was there then an Aryan invasion? You can see here the pictogram or picture of the Aryan of the Aryan in his chariot and their horses invading India, the Deccan Plateau, Western India, attacking and destroying, coming through Pakistan and Afghanistan via Hindu Kush in the Khyber there, crossing and going through in the Ganges plain and river there and causing havoc and destruction. There is no question about that. This is what we have to understand, and understand that the mass slaughter of non-Aryans, not only during war but also during peacetime, establishment of the Vedic apartheid or Katuvana system was based on race. Otherwise, the caste system that is there today proves that there is a superior, there is a race that is itself superior. This is the Aryan, a Vedic human sacrifice Purusha made of large numbers of non-Aryans by Vedic Brahmins, forced labor extracted from non-Brahmins, the capture of large numbers of non-combatant men, women, and children as booty, and their sale into slavery in Aryan households is occurring. It is the state in India. Why do we say that? Because the mulatto Brahminist government of India since independence in 1947 have followed the negation system and caste mindset. Negation is to deny the Aryan theory, the Aryan invasion reality, and calling it a theory, a myth, a non-event. It never happened. That's the negation. Therefore, because of that and the caste system, the Brahminist government find it justifiable to continue with the genocide of black indigenous people. That's the basis. So the first invasion was the Sutra Holocaust. The most severe Holocaust was that inflicted upon the Sudra Negroes. Almost 5 million were killed, exterminated from and pushed away from the north right into the south. Here are some of the segregational laws. Here is the picture, the image, archaeological image of the civilization and what happened there. Here are some of the rules that the Sudras, the black people, face. You can read it from History of the Indigenous Indians by T.H.P. Chausa-Thasaray, page 73. He says here, if the Shudra or Sutra intentionally listens for committing to memory the Veda, then his ears should be filled with molten lead. If a Shudra overheard the Veda or venture to utter a word of the Veda, the king shall cut his tongue in two. If he has mastered the Veda, his body should be cut to pieces. The denial of education to the Sudra and diverting them to the military and other low-class pursuits allows the Brahmins to continue to rule. So there is apartheid in India. Who are these Sudras? These are black people. You can see them. They're working in the fields, in the rice pads. Sudras or Shudra are people occupying a position next to the bottom of the Hindu caste system. Most of them are manual workers. All times it is hard to distinguish Sudras from untouchables. We shall look at the untouchables, the Dalits, who stands below them. And the Dalits are considered to be so polluted that they are regarded as outside the caste entirely. The Dalits were pushed to the lowest rung of the societal ladder in India. There is some tokenism today coming because of the drive of modernity and relativity and all the civilization and democracy. But the size of the ongoing travesty or the injustices that were committed has no parallel in human history. Nowhere in the world have so many people been subjected, discriminated, brutalized for almost 3,500 years. The Aryans introduced the caste system. The Brahmins introduced this to destroy the original and indigenous people there. One of the fighters there, Ankali, 1863-1914, born in Kerala, was a leader of the lower caste and Dalits. With his efforts, listen to this, Dalits got the freedom to walk on public roads, and Dalit children were allowed to join schools. This is the caste system, where you have got the gods, and below them you have got the Brahmins or priests or academics. Then you have got Kshatriyas, who are the warriors and kings. You have the Vaishya, modern merchants and landowners. Then you have the Sudras, who are commoners and peasants and servants. Then you have got the untouchables, who should clean, poop or latrine and sweep streets. This is global. This is happening. This is apartheid. This is evil. This is happening to us black people globally. Why? How can we come out of this vice? What has happened to us? His second invasion was called the Bharata invasion, occurring 1400 BCE from Afghanistan. They came in again. The waves came in. There are 20 or so of these waves of the Aryans, and they came upon and destroyed the Indra, the first one that we have just spoken of, the Bharata invasion, and destroyed and continued to destroy the original indigenous people. And after that, we give you another one, the Mahabharata Wars, 900 to 500 BCE, Common Era. You can see that the Arjunite Aryan invasion of northern India, the Nankulite Aryan invasion of western India, the Sahidvan Aryan invasion of South India, it occurred and destroyed again the target were the indigenous people that we have shown you and we have spoken about. One fighter again, Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, the great revolutionary who represented the 19th century Renaissance in India, told the Brahmins bluntly that by their own admission, they were outsiders and not the original inhabitants of India. The Aryans came as invaders, came as colonizers, destroying and committing untold genocide on the indigenous black people of India. There is proof that there was a genocide. You cannot deny that. The proof is in the ash layers, which indicate widespread burning down of Indus cities by Aryans. Archaeologists have dug this and found ash layers, found fractured skulls and mutilated skeletons displaying axe and sword marks due to widespread massacre of the Indus Valley inhabitants by the Aryan invaders. There is the caste system that we have spoken of, and there is also the discontinuity of the Maharappan, as well as the Mohenjo-Daro civilization, and untold skulls of bent up people, our own brothers and sisters, our ancestors in the Maharappan culture who existed in the Indus Valley were destroyed. The Harappan culture peaked and reached its peak in 2600 BCE, shortly after the development of urban societies in Mesopotamia and Egypt. Egypt is the first, followed by Mesopotamia, and then followed by the Mohenjo-Daro or Indus Valley civilization, all founded by black people. Harappan civilization at its height collapsed under the hordes that we have spoken of, the Aryans. The Black Sudras, Dravidians, and African race. The Aryans and Dravidians today still retain, by and large, their original features. The Aryans, listen to this, have fair, pale skin, leptorine, thin noses, and straight hair. Listen to the Dravidians. They had broad noses, opposite, dark skin, opposite, curly or wavy hair, and they are related to Africans. You can read this from Clyde Winter's books, and as well as Risley. These are our brothers. These are like you and me, black. There is no way, there is no difference. This is the time for absolute unity. There was a number of invasions by Aryans from Eastern Europe, who came in and destroyed our black brothers with melanin. So if you are black and you have melanin, you are me. You are my brother. You are my sister. This is time for absolute, solid, unbreakable spiritual and physical union, because we all came out of Africa into India and we peopled all of Eurasia. This is based on genetics. This is based on linguistics. This is based on cultural development, iconograph, and our physical features. You look at an black Indian and an African, we are the same everywhere. We are one people. There is no difference. Thank you for listening to this. Subscribe and continue to tell others and spread this message so that we can become united, we can work together, and we can know that there are no boundaries. The only boundary is what has been set in our brains. Thank you. Goodbye.